All right. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome. 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 Tonight's broadcast, our webinar, uh, our TempleCare Matters. I am glad to be here, pinch hitting just for a few minutes before our other moderator comes in, Sister Minor. I'm Michael Minor, and I am the National Director of the Hope Health Initiative of the National Baptist Convention USA Incorporated. And we're glad that you've joined us here for our September meeting. We know that last week we were at our annual session in Kansas City, and oh, what a blessed time we all had there. All right. Look, we want to begin by acknowledging our national leadership. Of course, our chieftain, the president of the National Baptist Convention USA Incorporated, Dr. Jerry Young, our general secretary, Dr. Alvin Edwards, the chair of our federal faith-based development initiative, Dr. Alvin Love. In this evening's TempleCare Matters webinar, we'll share about the September suggested health observances, National Childhood Obesity Awareness Month, and Sickle Cell Disease Awareness Month. We'll include our monthly Let's Move update with some breaking news. Yes. Finally, we'll share about upcoming mental health first aid sessions. And of course, we thank God for just allowing us to share with you all today. And we were glad to see many of you all in Kansas City. Of course, we got to put in our plug about this evening's webinar. This evening's webinar is supported by funding from the National Institutes of Health. All right, and here we go. The National Institutes of Health. We have our logo and their logo, and it talks about the All of Us Research Program. We want you to join our NBCUSA Hope team in becoming one in a million, yes, and one of the nation's most robust research studies. To learn more, all you got to do is simple. You can go to joinallofus.org/NBCUSA. joinallofus.org/NBCUSA. And when you go there, you'll see a picture of Sister Minor and I. You know you're on the right page. Again, go to joinallofus.org/NBCUSA. And in the words of the late Joan E.W. Golden, you'll be glad you did. All right. Now, this webinar is the latest in a series of First Tuesday TempleCare Matters, although we're doing this one on the second Tuesday. It's involved in the hybrid events and virtual and in-person watch gatherings, okay, and in our local NBCUSA congregations. As we always do, We thought we'd be done now, but we have to give an update on COVID-19. Good news, everybody. Updated COVID-19 vaccinations are available. I'm going to say that again. Updated COVID-19 vaccinations are available. Maybe you didn't hear. I'd be like the preacher I am. The updated COVID vaccines are available. And you'll be able to go and get your appointment. So and you can also do it along with your flu shot. And this fall, the first vaccines for another scary virus called RSV, they'll be rolling out to older adults and pregnant women. Doctors around the country hope enough people get vaccinated to avert another triple-demic like we had last year. Hospitals are overwhelmed with an early flu season, an onslaught of RSV, which is also called respiratory syncytial virus, and yet another winter coronavirus surge. COVID-19 hospitalizations have been steadily increasing since late summer, although not nearly as much as this time last year. And RSV already is on a rise in parts of the Southeast. So let's stay safe, and where appropriate, NBCUSA family, let's mask up. All right. Now let's turn to this evening's feature, sickle cell disease. All right. Of course, Sunday is sickle cell Sabbath Sunday across National Baptist Convention USA Incorporated. Sunday is a national faith day to raise awareness and charitable giving within the congregation. As a national partner of the Sickle Cell Disease Association of America, the National Baptist Convention USA encourages our member churches to connect sickle cell awareness and education activities on Sickle Sabbath Sunday. You may download a worship guide from our website or email info@hopenbc.com. Well, tonight we're fortunate to have two great guest panelists to share with us this evening. All right, so let me spotlight the first one. All right, first we have Reverend Menagerie Winston of Houston, Texas. She is a seasoned grassroots organizer with over 12 years experience within faith formation, education, social justice, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Reverend Winston received her bachelor's degree in public relations and advertisement from Texas Southern University, HBCU, and a master's degree in business administration from Texas Women's University. Reverend Winston is a continued fighter for people on the margins of society and currently has a role as a diversity, education, and outreach coordinator for Gulf Coast Regional Blood Center. Reverend Winston's position within the Blood Center has her front and center, breaking down cultural barriers, myths, and educating Black and brown population on the importance of a diverse blood supply to save lives within those communities. Thank you for joining us this evening, Reverend Winston.
I'm glad that you guys are having me. I appreciate being here today.
All right. And now for our second guest. Okay. We have Sister Deborah Sanders, a native of Houston, Texas. She graduated from Mansfield Business College. Deborah's been married for 38 years. She has 2 boys, 6 grandchildren. She attends Cliffdale Baptist Church in Houston, Texas, where her husband is Pastor Fred Sanders III. That makes her a first lady too now. Deborah has worked for the Houston Police Department for 38 years as a senior police service officer. After 38 years of service, she retired in February 2020. Deborah enjoys serving the Lord, cooking, baking, helping the elderly, helping hurting women, seeking help for youth, helping people any way she can. She has a baking business and a ministry program called CG Swag, God's Gifted Servant with Achievable Goal. Thanks for joining us this evening, Sister Sanders. All right. So now we're going to bring up Sister Copper, Linda Copper, our NBCUSA Southwest 2 Regional Coordinator. She will moderate our sickle cell discussion, and I'm going to bring up Reverend Newsom And all right, we're gonna be in. There we go. All right, Sister Copra,
All righty.
we're in your hands.
Okay. Well, thank you, Dr. Minor. And again, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Reverend Menagerie Winston. And of course, our very own sister, we call her Tina, Sister Deborah Sanders, First Lady Deborah Sanders. And this evening, we have several questions communicated to us for Sickle Cell Disease Awareness Month. So Reverend Winston, as you and Sister Deborah connect, one question is, what is sickle cell?
So sickle cell is a trait that is inherited, is an inherited blood disorder caused by a genetic mutation affecting hemoglobin, the protein responsible for carrying oxygen to the red blood cells.
Okay, and then we want to know about the relation between why it is important within the Black community. Why is sickle cell an important topic within the Black community or the communities of color?
Mm-hmm. I would say that it's hitting the Black community mostly in numbers, as a lot of people may not know. So we're looking at roughly 1 in 13 African Americans actually carry the sickle cell trait. You roughly have 1 in 3 babies that are actually born with the sickle cell disease. So when you look at those numbers compared to different ethnic groups, we can understand how it's hitting our community pretty largely. And at that, a lot of people actually are not educated on even knowing if they carry the trait or not.
Okay, and Sister Deborah Sanders has firsthand experience. And Sister Sanders, can you just give us a brief reason why blood donations are connected to sickle cell? Unmute yourself, Sister Deborah.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Can y'all hear me? Okay,
Yes,
blood
ma'am.
donations are necessary because that's a part of the sickle cell when they're going through a crisis. And in the crisis, sometimes the medication is not doing the job it should do, and they would have to have a transfusion to get the blood back flowing. And so it's very important for the blood donations that we have, because the blood bank a lot of times are low on different types of blood that sickle cell patients need.
Okay.
And
Now,
a lot of times they have so many blood transfusions, so then it becomes hard to get blood.
and Reverend Winston, with you working with the Gulf Coast Regional Blood Center, what have you heard coming from African Americans why African Americans do not give blood?
You know, some of the things that we have are 1, scared of needles. 2, we have medical mistrust. Is a big one. You know, I will simply have people that tell me that they just simply they need their blood. They don't want to give their blood, things like that. But what we have to understand is, you know, not only with sickle cell, but just even in traumatic experiences. If somebody is shot or if they're in a car accident, 9 times out of 10, if they have a rare blood type, they're needing someone that is closely related to their ethnic background. And we don't know that as people, but it is beneficial when someone has a rare blood type. And given in the city of Houston, honestly, African Americans are only showing up for about 7% compared to, and if anybody knows about the city of Houston, we have roughly almost 4 million people. And if you think about that, 7% of the blood donations that the blood center is getting is from African Americans, which is a low number, and we show up for everything else, and we honestly can show up for this.
So how can we change that narrative around our community and even just health-related activities?
Well, I think the first thing is, this is what I do in my job, is honestly just meeting people where they're at and asking questions and being educated about this. A lot of people wonder about the blood giving process, which a lot of times I will tell people that, we say 1 hour of your time saves multiple lives. And that's not even that you're going to be sitting in the chair and just giving your blood for 1 hour. Honestly, it's with the screening process, sitting and waiting. But the blood donation process is roughly about 15 or 20 minutes that it happens. Besides the fact that I love the snacks that you get at the blood center or anytime that you do anything, that's also a good experience. But like I said, it's something that we can do to just help save our community. And this is a way to give back that's completely free. You're not having to come out of your pocket for this. You are just simply giving your time. And in that, we all know someone that has had sickle cell. We know someone that's had cancer. We know someone that's had, that's been in some type of car accident. And to know that we're just looking at the process and not educating ourselves about it, we are literally not saving lives that we could save.
And then Sister Deborah Sanders, are there any questions that you would encourage those who are wanting to give blood about the blood donor process?
I guess I would just encourage people. A lot of people are just scared. A lot of them are just afraid, and they like, I'm not doing it. But I think if we put more emphasis and promote it more, you get better answers. And a lot of times we don't promote things like we should. Things that are important anyway. Like blood drive is a very important source. Because like she just said, it's not just for the sickle cell, but a lot of times in trauma, you need blood. Sometimes people just get sick and go to the hospital, have to have a blood transfusion. But in order to get people to come out and just do it, you just have to keep promoting it.
Okay. Now we do have several questions from our audience.
Keep pushing, keep asking and keep asking, just like you're selling stuff.
Okay. And we will address a couple now, and then we'll address the rest in our extended Q&A session. One question we have here is, why does sickle cell anemia cause so many problems?
I would just say that it's the disease in itself. When you're looking at different, your hemoglobin levels, and this is even when you come in to give blood, that's the number one thing that we're checking. It would need to be at 12.4, and a lot of us are, anemic or different other things. But honestly, it's just a disease itself. And like I said, how those red blood cells, which we all know that we need those red blood cells, are not receiving the oxygen that they need, and people are literally, dying from this, and they're requiring these transfusions. And what's even more bad about this process is that a lot of people are just not even educated that they might have sickle cell. So I've heard of plenty of stories of that. Hey, my brother, we think that he may have died from this. Eventually, we found out people in our family carried the trait, and he had all of these problems. And a lot of times, we're just not educated, and we're not even going to the doctor. Yeah, look at that too. We're not going to the doctor. We're not doing those things, so we don't know about it, which makes this initiative from the blood center, where we are, this is the first ever thing where we are testing African Americans for the sickle cell trait. This has never happened. Like I said, I'm the diversity coordinator at the blood center. We have an entire diversity meeting, and this is the first year ever that they're taking that initiative, since it's hit our community so much, to make sure that people are educated about this. And even me, I am 35, and I don't even know if I have the trait. So I'm making sure that this month, I give blood every 56 days, and I'll be giving blood this week, and I'll be able to know my status around this as well.
Okay, and we do have one other question. Does sickle cell deal with your white blood cells?
No, so like I said, it mostly deals with your red blood cells and not receiving the oxygen, and that's where those blood transfusions come into place.
Okay, well, thank you for that overview. So as we do move on, we will address the other questions later, but I see Sister Minor, and we're going to go back to Sister Minor or Dr. Minor. We're turning it over to Dr. Minor. Oh, okay, I see you, Sister Minor. All right, there you go. There you go. Okay, hello.
Thank you, Sister Carper. Thank you so much, and thank you, Reverend Winston. This has been absolutely great information that we need to know. And we all know somebody who suffers from sickle cell. I know that has been said, but we can't say it enough. We all know somebody who has sickle cell or who has the trait, and we've seen how people suffer with this disease. So there's ways that we can help. We got to try to do that. And I'll even go a step further. Our focus, and I'm going to move on to the next section. Excuse me. Our focus is on the sickle cell, obviously. But I think someone mentioned a moment ago, think about how many people just get sick. They may not be sickle cell patients, but they just need blood. That could be any of us. So this is critical. All right, let's move on. All of us research. Let's remember www.joinallofus.org/NBCUSA. That is the website to remember. That is the website to have tagged or pinned or whatever, so you can get to it and share it with people widely. Now, what does that mean? The NBCUSA's collaboration with the NIH's All of Us, or National Institutes of Health, All of Us research program. Our community isn't just unique in culture and tradition, but also in our health needs. And we just talked about that with sickle cell. That's a very unique need for people in the African American community. Participating in the All of Us research program is a step towards making sure that health research considers all of our needs. That's people who look like us, people who don't look like us, everybody. So again, visit www.joinallofus.org/NBCUSA. NBCUSA. Now, do it while you're thinking about it. If you got a more than one device, and most of us do, you can be viewing this webinar on one device and signing up and visiting or enrolling in the program with the other device. Doing this is one way that we can help make sure that research is more inclusive. All right. September not only is about sickle cell awareness, but it's also National Childhood Obesity Awareness Day falls in September. National Childhood Obesity Awareness Month, National Childhood Obesity Awareness Day. This health observance is dedicated to educating children and their families on how to prevent childhood obesity. It provides numerous opportunities for families, schools, and communities to share information about their plans and events aimed at educating children on how to deal with health issues such as obesity. And that's a big deal, folks. We talk about mind, body, and spirit. That is a big deal because the minds of our children are so impressionable, and we have people now that body shame folks. They don't not only body shame children, they'll body shame an adult, or try to at least. So obesity affects the entire child, that child's whole persona. So it's important. This month is also an excellent opportunity for parents to learn more about how they can help their children's health. We are constantly challenged as parents, teachers, and caregivers of young children to find ways to prevent childhood obesity. Now, it's time for our monthly Let's Move National Baptist update. Woohoo! All right, we understand that Sister Nettie Johnson has a special announcement for us. Sister Nettie, take it away.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. And thank you so much for the great information that has been shared about blood donation, about sickle cell, childhood obesity, all of our upcoming initiatives. We just want to share a little bit about what's going on with Let's Move National Baptist. And first, just really quickly, where this is coming from. We launched this initiative in 2022. It was the second time that we came around. And when we got to our 1-year anniversary, we began a series of assessments to really look at our program offerings, our operations, participant engagement. Were we moving the needle? You know that scripture tells us to examine ourselves, right? So assessment and examination is very important. And y'all, we have some really great results. We are so thankful that we have close to 400 members And in that year, we've had 7,186 active engagements for participants. That means that they actually did something with the educational content that came through. We also had close to 90 folks to attend either individual group coaching sessions or to participate in some of our deep dive master classes. So those were folks that wanted to know more. So we just thank God for that. Yeah, but Dr. Miner always tells us that the biggest room is the room for what? Sister Miner shaking her head. That's right. He always tells us that the biggest room is the room for improvement. And so our assessment also did clarify some areas where we can improve to reach more people. So what we have done, and that's what we're announcing today, is we're shifting the Let's Move National Baptist operations from being email-based to moving it to an application called Band. Now, there may be some JPEGs that will show up, but if not, we're just going to keep on rolling. If you're familiar with Band, let us know in the actual comments. Band it's an app that you can use on your phone, but if you don't want to put an app on your phone, you can actually access it on the internet. But it allows you to not only connect with other people, but to share information and to be able to maintain the information in a catalog. It has calendars. It allows you to have individual chats, to have polls and challenges. So it kind of groups a lot of really important tools that will allow us to support one another in our TempleCare more effectively, all in one place. Now, in the last email that went out, that talked a bit about Band, there was an invitation for Band, and I'm going to go on ahead and pop it into the chat as well. Let me see if I can do that. If you click on that, you can join the Band. And what you will find when you come over there is you're going to find that it will allow you to post. Already in there is information about different types of exercises, events that are coming up, pieces of information. And I'm going to be sure to also include some of the sickle cell information and those types of things that were shared today over there, so you can find them in a very quick and easy place. You will also find in the posting area that everyone that is a part of Band can post. So share how you're working out, your sweaty selfies, any information that you want to share, questions that you may have. It's a connection opportunity. In addition to that, there is a calendar. So events like our webinar for upcoming trainings, we will make sure to actually copy them over there as well. So when you're coming in to talk about your activity, you can click on that calendar and make sure that you can sign up for any of the other events that are connected to us through Let's Move National Baptist. It has the ability to do polls and to do chats. But what we're most excited about on the operations side is there is an attachments area that allows us to put all of those files and attachments that were in email that I continually heard that people would not get the email or it would go to spam. And so people were missing some of the information. Now there is an existing catalog of content so that you can get your sheets for your personal workbook. You can look up different types of exercises. You can share your actual activity minutes. You can get trackers. All of that information is in one place. So if you have not already signed up from the invitation that came out in your email, please do so. And again, that link is in the chat. Now, there's one last thing, y'all, that we want to share about Band that we're also kind of excited about. When you go into Band to join, the name of the group mirrors our TempleCare Matters webinars, and it is called TempleCare Fitness. And here is the reason why. This is part of the strategy. We have really great engagement in Let's Move National Baptist from a dedicated core. And what we want to do is we really want to move forward and to reach more people. Let's think about it, y'all. In our churches, the ministry work that we do, it's not just for the people that are within the four walls of the church or on the member roll. This information that we're sharing about COVID, about sickle cell, about blood donation, we're not just encouraging people that are in our group. This information, for us to really be impactful, has to be shared with others. So TempleCare Fitness, this band at the end of the month is going to open up to anyone who is faith-based, Christian faith-based, and wants to connect with other individuals. It is an opportunity for us to actually share the love of God, to share the message of faith-based fitness, and to also share some of the great things that Let's Move National Baptist is doing with other folks. So you will see groups of people that are in because they like chair exercise, or people that are walkers, or people that are runners, or groups that do line dance or whatever. Connect and engage as you see fit. But there is a folder specifically for Let's Move National Baptist where all of our materials are there. Y'all, we are just excited to see how this particular application can help us to be more effective in communicating, can perhaps expand our reach, can make it easier for you to find information and to connect with one another as we continue to move for our health. So again, the link is in the chat. It was also in your email. So go on ahead, join the band. And if you have any questions, there are plenty of resources that are available. So that's our update. We're excited about the change, and I hope to see you over in TempleCare Fitness.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sister Nettie. I love the comment about posting your sweaty selfie. That was funny. But it's real. Yeah. That's what it's about. Can't hear you, Sister Nettie. Unmute again. Unmute. Unmute, Sister Nettie.
You know what? God didn't want me to talk about how sweaty I am all the time. So that's what I was saying. So let me mute myself again.
Oh my goodness. But that is good. That perspiration from exercise is a good thing. That is a good thing. We are out there moving our bodies. So thank you for the information. I'm excited about this band. I want to see what it looks like. Let's move on. We're going to have now Sister Bettina Campbell. She's going to give us some updates on our mental health training efforts. Come on down, Sister Bettina.
Good evening, everyone. As you know, we are in the midst of a mental health crisis in our communities, and it's a national crisis, and we need to do all that we can to not only have a healthy body, but a healthy mind. We are triune beings, so if our mind and our soul is not healthy, it doesn't do our body any good to be healthy. And so what we're doing on this month is the 23rd of this month.
Yes, ma'am.
Saturday the 23rd, we will be offering a mental health first aid session. So it is open now for you to register. You can register by getting in touch with me at Bettina, Bettina, at HOPE.NBC.com, and I will be able to make sure that Anita, the trainer for the sessions, will register you and get you out the pre-work that you have to do. Everybody has to do pre-work, so you need your own link. And that link is special because that's how you will be able to take the certification test after you do the sessions and get your 3-year certification. So again, we will be doing it on September the 23rd. We are in the process of coming up with another date for October and November, which we will announce within the next week or so. So right now, we're asking that you sign up for our September 23rd class. It's from 9 to 4. And again, you will get a certificate for it. And if you need, in a profession where you need CEUs, you would also be able to get 7 to 8 CEUs for the session.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Sister Bettina. Mental health first aid next Saturday, September 23rd. So go ahead and sign up now if you're interested in taking that course. I know it is going to be filled with great information. All right, next we want to remind everyone about our self-paced Health Ambassador Training. In June, we launched a new series of YouTube videos covering all 8 sessions of our Health Ambassador certification. So here is the QR code on this. Well, it's about to come on the screen in a second. We'll give, I think Dr. Miner is our director tonight, or our producer. We're going to give him a minute to get the QR code up there. And you can, again, this is on YouTube, and the training link is available. I won't read the training. Well, I will, because it's short. It's https://www.youtube.com/playlist. And that is gonna be the link. That is the link, or well, part of the link. When you actually, it's on your screen, I believe. I believe it's on your screen. All right. So to receive credit toward Health Ambassador certifications, 3 easy steps. Number 1, email info@hopenbc.com to register. Number 2, request a copy of the lesson training guide. Number 3, complete the training survey at https://hopenbc.com/training-survey. And that's what's on your screen. I apologize. I said I thought the YouTube link was on the screen. My mistake. That is actually the link to actually receive credit for your Health Ambassador certification. All right. That was a lot. So we covered a lot of information this evening, but the best part is coming now. So get ready, get ready. We want to hear from you. So you can use this time, this opportunity to type in the chat or raise your virtual hand. For those watching on social media, we'll do our best to capture your questions as well. So we'll be watching the screens here on Zoom as well as we'll be watching social media. All righty. So once again, before we go further, we'd like to acknowledge a significant financial support from the NIH's All of Us research program. Let's not forget all of our August marketing updates. And there should be a list of those on your screen in just a moment. And you can download the complete list of annual health observances from our website. That's at Health Observance Calendar, www.hopenbc.com. All right. And that YouTube link that I mentioned earlier is now in the chat for anyone who wants it. The link also for the Hope Self-Paced Certified Health Ambassador Training is in the chat as well. All right. Upcoming events, November 27th through 29th. The Sunday School Publishing Board Educators Conference at the Gaylord Opryland in Nashville, Tennessee. The agenda for our next NBCUSA Hope TempleCare Matters webinar, which will be held on October the 3rd, 2023. We're going to talk about National Church Safety and Security Month, National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and National Bullying Prevention Month. You can join us on the web and on social media, whichever you prefer. Remember that website is www.hopenbc.com. Again, www.hopenbc.com. Our Twitter feed is at Hope_NBCUSA. And our YouTube channel is NBCUSA Hope. That's H.O.P.E. If you would like to enroll in our NBCUSA Hope Health Ministry training in person or self-paced online, again, you're going to go to our website. Our email. I apologize. You're going to email us at info@hopenbc.com or call 901-603-0762. 901-603-0762. So we do appreciate all of your feedback, and we want to hear your feedback. The more information you give us about how we're doing, the better we do. As Sister Nettie and my husband have said, the biggest room in the house is the room for improvement. So we've pasted the link for the survey in the chat. And that link, I'll read it to you for those of you who may not be viewing the chat. It's https://hopenbc.com/webinar-survey. And Sister Copper has posted in the chat, for those of you who may not be able to see it, the mental health first aid link for next Saturday, the 23rd. MHFHA, Mental Health First Aid, MHFA, 4, the number 4, me, Mental Health First Aid for Me, at gmail.com. and you respond or you reply, you state in that message, I want in on this session. And that's not the link, that's actually well, yeah, it is a link. I'm sorry. That is an email, I'm sorry. mhfa4me@gmail.com. In that message, you can put it in the subject. You say, I want in on this session. All right. We appreciate, again, all the feedback that you give us. So don't forget the survey. Okay, let's open it up for questions. It's time for the Q&A. All right. I see a question here. Is there any printable information for congregations regarding childhood obesity and sickle cell awareness month? So the answer is yes. You can go to our website and there is information posted not only about those two things, but each month, whatever our health observance is for that month, there is information that is going to be posted or that is posted. All right. Let's see if we have other questions.
Sister Minor, we did have a question here. If our CBC shows only slight anemia, do you recommend getting a genetic test for sickle cell anemia? And what are the diagnostic options for adults?
All right, we're going to open that up for yes, go ahead.
Winston?
Okay, so what was the question here again?
If our CBC shows only slight anemia, do you recommend getting a genetic test for sickle cell anemia?
Okay, I'm sorry.
And then what are the diagnostic options for adults?
So I won't go into total diagnostic numbers because I'm just not necessarily a medical professional and I don't want to do that particular part. But I would say just education-wise, if you are not, if you think that you might have it or you're having certain symptoms of things from the disease, I don't think it's wrong to get a test. Now, like I said, I don't know I know the test typically can cost roughly about $150 or so, depending where you're located. But I will say that Gulf Coast Regional Blood Center is doing it free for the month of September. So you do have to go in and actually give a blood donation, but it'll take about 3 weeks to get those results back. But we will notify you of if you carry the tray, which one would help you save money. And then also, like I said, just know your status.
Wonderful. Thank you. That's a great question. And thank you for your response. All right. Is it true that you cannot give blood if you have diabetes or cancer?
So no, not necessarily. If you have diabetes and you are regulating your diabetes like you're supposed to, just the same thing as high blood pressure, you are able to give blood. Now, with cancer falls into this particular category. You would need to be in 1 year in remission from that. So from your last, if that is chemo treatment or radiation or whatever the case may be with your treatment, you would need to be 1 year from that to be able to give blood again.
Okay, so 1 year out. Wonderful. Thank you. Well, I think we have another question from Sister Nettie. Sister Nettie, you have your hand up. If you will unmute and go ahead with your question.
You mentioned how important it is for us to give blood, not only for sickle cell, but for all kinds of reasons. And that really resonated with me. I'm wondering, have you seen or can you recommend any best practices that church ministries can use for successful blood drives that are housed or that come through the church? Have you seen anything that was effective, and what recommendations may you offer?
So, I actually just spoke with Brentwood Baptist Church in Houston, Texas here, and I have a blood drive scheduled with Silver Lake Church. Now, to be honest with you, it is what and what. And the reason why I say this is because I did some outreach with Time of Life Ministries. And what I noticed is when I came out and spoke to the congregation, and they have roughly about 700 members. So I came out, spoke to them. We worked on getting signups, but I took it one step further. And that's when we're just going into this education component, because and if we can all just be honest about our community, it sometimes takes us 7 or 8 times to hear something to actually go and do it. And these are just facts. Call it what you want. These are just facts of what we kind of know about our community. So given that, I did this particular event with them that Sunday. And in my head, I just said, hey, let's take this one step further. So for their Bible study that particular Wednesday, they still get roughly about 300 people in the building. So what we did is I spoke at their praise and worship service. Also went over stats, just how is your congregation represented in the community? Could you guys be doing better? Not to make it a competition, but just to be honest, what do these numbers look like? Because that can make people a lot more noticeable of these things, of how they're showing up for these churches that we also love, and we're there in the sanctuary every Sunday. On top of that, what I did is with these, because we usually have wellness ministries. So on top of that, what I did was a presentation with the wellness ministry where we again went into more stats, just why is it important to give blood? What the fact of giving blood regularly every 56 days could help. There are studies that say that can actually reduce cardiovascular disease. So looking into those things, we did that, and we ended up, this particular church, roughly you would have about 10 people sign up for donations. After I came and did those 2 particular things, we ended up having 37 people actually sign up to donate. We had 27 successful donations from them, and they actually had to turn people away just because of the sake of time. So, but I say that to say is, when I went to Brentwood Sunday, particularly, I didn't have that many signups. So it's just kind of what on one. I think that the church has to take a huge initiative when it comes to broadcasting these particular things. Maybe it's better planning that we need to do. Maybe it's a better buy-in, because unfortunately we do have to, make things beneficial for people. But I think it's a kind of what it is what your community is wanting to kind of get out of it.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you for that information. And I see some information posted now about blood drives, other blood drives in other places. I see there's one Greater Sunrise Missionary Baptist Church, Makeda Chapter 6, OES and Cedars of Lebanon Lodge, number 4, Hope and Southwest Region, number 2, the 30th, and contact Sister Kawana Mitchell. And I'm reading this for folks that are that may not be able to see the chat, at Kawana, KAJUANNA 71@gmail.com. Thank you for that information, Sister Carper. All right. Any other questions? I don't see any more hands up right now. I don't see any other questions in the chat. Dr. Minor, are there any other questions on Facebook or YouTube?
There's a question asking how the people can get a copy of the Sickle Cell Sabbath overview, or Sickle Cell Sabbath program guide.
Okay, in order to get that, I'm going to ask you to contact, you can email info@hopenbc.com for that, or you can call 901-603-0762 for that information. I'm looking into the chat.
All right. There's also another question. It's asking, how does the All of Us research program and sickle cell disease, is there a connection between the two?
Dr. Winston?
Say that again for me. Is there a connection between?
Well, the All of Us research program and All of Us research program and sickle cell. I guess I actually have to probably answer that question because All of Us research program is the thing that we're doing through the National Baptist. And one of the things that's in the database, there are about 500,000 people that are in the database, and a significant number of them have sickle cell or the sickle cell trait. And as a part of this All of Us research program, they have a researcher's bench. And one of the things that they're encouraging research to do is use this data they have now, and hopefully we can find better treatments or a cure for sickle cell from this information.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Miner. And I've just been reminded in the chat again to mention the September 30th blood drive at Greater Sunrise Missionary Baptist Church in Houston, Texas, 2720 Bringhurst Street. Okay. And we're asking, we've been asking the chat to give a brief description of All of Us. All righty. The All of Us research program is an offshoot of precision medicine. Think about the fact that I have on my new glasses, which I'm so proud of, and a lot of other individuals on this call have on eyeglasses, but none of us have the same prescription. My glasses are precise. They were made for me with my issues that I have with my eyes, and I have and I've had more this year. I had as we all did, or will have. If we have not had a birthday, if it's this year, if it's the Lord's will, we will have one before the end of the year. And each birthday, my eyes seem to change. So this was for me and all the stuff that my eyes are going through. Each of us has a different prescription. So when it comes to medication, it is the same with medication. One size does not fit all. But we have found historically, because people of color are fearful about research, medicines don't necessarily always work for us. Our bodies don't always respond. I will use an example. I'm not disparaging this particular medication, but I'll use an example that is a very common example that we've seen throughout the African American community. I'll use lisinopril, blood pressure medicine, as my example. It is very effective in lowering blood pressure. However, in people of color, it can be very dangerous for some because it causes swelling. That swelling can be life-threatening. Now, is that a bad drug? Of course it's not, because it controls blood pressure. The issue is that when that drug was created, when it was manufactured, the individuals who probably participated in that research were healthy, middle-aged white men. And their health issues, their needs are not always the same as ours. Gender differences, race differences, culture differences, a whole lot of things go into making the difference between the way a medicine helps one person and harms another one. So I said all that to say, what the All of Us research program does is it works to ensure that research is extended to everyone, and that prayerfully in the future, our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren will benefit from medicines that better fit them, that are more precise for each individual. So what the National Institutes of Health is doing is they are looking for 1 million people to sign up for this program to participate in this non-invasive research. And hear me when I say non-invasive research. This research is very simple. You answer some questions when you log into a website. You will be directed to a place where you can give a saliva sample or a blood sample. And with those samples, or with that sample, whichever one you choose to do, you will be able to find out things about you that may not help you today, but it will help future generations be healthier. So that is what All of Us is about. It's about all of us, even though I'm focusing in this conversation on people of color, because that's who's watching this video for the most part, or who's sharing with us tonight. But it is for everybody, because who does not want to be healthy? And we have to look at why some people stay healthy, why some people get sick. And there are a million reasons. So that's why they want everybody to be 1 in a million for a better future. And this is the website. Join All of Us. .org/NBCUSA. All right. I hope that answered your questions. All right. All right. All right. Is that all the questions, Dr. Minor?
That is all the questions.
Okay. Hope team, that's all your questions or comments?
Yes, ma'am.
All righty. This has been fabulous. I have learned a lot of information, and I'll say this, I am happy to be back sitting here with you all tonight. It has been my pleasure to participate. And this is the end of our Q&A period. We appreciate the tireless work of our entire NBC USA Hope team. Dr. Michael O'Minor, Dr. Desi Levy, yours truly, Lottie Minor, Sister Nettie Johnson, Pastor Dexter Moraney, Sister Ellen McKnight Hill, Dr. Felisa Washington, Minister Geraldine Moore, Sister Loretta Miller, Dr. Lavora Williams, Sister Bettina Campbell, Dr. Marion Talley, and Brother Thomas Duke Robinson, and Pastor Bernard Montgomery. We appreciate everybody's work. I left somebody off, Sister Linda Carper. My list does not have everybody's name. I don't know what happened, but I hope I didn't leave anyone else off. Sister Annice Jefferson, that is our Hope team. Our 7 regional coordinators, and someone please speak up if I missed anyone on our Hope team, but our 7 regional coordinators, Pastor Daniel Blackburn for the Northeast, Sister Brooklyn Rogers, Southeast, Pastor Bernard Montgomery, Southwest Region 1, Sister Linda Carper, Southwest Region 2, Sister Teresa Fales Farr, the Midwest, Pastor Richmond Johnson, the Far West. And if you want to connect with whomever your regional coordinator may be based on your geographical location, you're going to email. Again, this email ought to be so common to you now because this is where you go if you want to talk to us about hope. info@hopenbc.com. And that email is monitored. People are watching it. People keep up with it, and we try to answer within 24 to 48 hours. All right. Again, that's info@hopenbc.com. All right. We know that some of you have additional questions and comments, so we will formally close this evening's webinar in just a moment. Then we'll open up the microphones for general Q&A session. We hope to see you for our next session on Tuesday, October 3rd, 2023. That's our next TempleCare Matters webinar. Finally, we acknowledge our president, Dr. Jerry Young, who reminds us to envision the future exceptionally. This has been a production of the National Baptist Convention, USA Incorporated, the nation's largest Black denomination. God bless you and God keep you is our